Braka, 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 braka. Kyrie's marathon all day between Meta and YouTube. Listen, we prophesied through the Holy Spirit 10 years ago, 2024, gonna be a lot worse death than ever before. We prophesied that don't try to prepare or worry what to wear, for there will be others that prepare and store up riches just for the righteous. You will run right into just for you, and it will be yours by deed. We prophesied that the entity of the government will turn on you because it hates the saints. They are part of the world. The world don't love nothing that it is not of its own. And now it's on your big media. Now it can't even be hidden, brothers and sisters. All things are possible through the Kairos that strengthened us. Some of us are going to be beamed up. Most are going to be left behind. But let me tell you, the things we will show you today.
What do you do when you wake up to the news that the Department of Defense has reissued a 2016 operating manual and added the use of lethal force against U.S. citizens? What do you do with that information, folks? Well, the first thing you do is you spread it because it's true. I'm going to drop in the description of this video the original 2016 Department of Defense operating manual. And first off, in my opinion, 2016 was disturbing enough. It talks about surveillance and broadband use and how they can surveil you, how they can search our state National Guardsmen, right? But to know that for some reason, 2.5 weeks before the 2024 presidential election, they felt the need to go in and correct and change and add an entire section about how the Department of Defense can come in, support local law enforcement up and until lethal force has been used against U.S. citizens. That includes death and serious bodily harm. Now, a lot of people
At Zero Price, we can help you plan ahead for what matters to you most. Work directly with us, and together, we can find the right investments for your life and hers. Helping potential bloom all along the way. That's the power of curiosity. Better questions, better outcomes. T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence.
Always distractions, isn't it? Always.
If you need a high-performance portable generator and a...
As we get an understanding here that the time has come where you are really the problem. They can't stop us. That's your prophecies.
Like I said, I'm going to drop the links for you. Go do your own research. But let me tell you what this tells me. This tells me that every video that I've done for you guys in the last 3 months telling you that they are preparing for something was correct. It tells me that our federal government does not trust us, their employers, right? Because that's who we are when you look at the Constitution. The American citizen is actually the government. The government works for us. But they are now giving themselves permission to not only surveil us, record us, document about us, and share it amongst intelligence agencies within the federal government. They are now giving themselves permission to injure and unalive us on our tax dollars. Now, you might ask yourself, why? Well, obviously, they're expecting the election results to make somebody unhappy in this country, folks. And let's be honest, that is what's going to happen. If the conservatives win, you're going to see a Black Lives Movement happen all over the country again, but this time because they're going to say we stole the election. They're going to burn, they're going to injure, and they're going to destroy because that's their playbook. We have seen them do it repeatedly. If the liberals win, I think you're going to see people stand up in unison in this country and say enough is enough. You're communist and socialist. That is not what my Constitution promises me. And I'm not going to live under that any longer. So either way, you're going to have an unhappy person when the election results come in. I've even warned you guys, when Trump wins, let's just go ahead and speak it in the affirmative action. When Trump wins, what is going to happen to these 30 million illegal aliens? Okay, now some of them, and I've heard percentages up to 60%, are single males of fighting age. What do you think that 60% of 30 million are going to do when they realize that they are going to be rounded up, placed in holding until plane tickets and planes can be set up, and then they're going to be shipped back to their country of origin? What do you think they're going to do? They're going to run and hide. They're going to pillage and plunder. They're going to do whatever they can to stay put in this country that they illegally broke into. So I need everybody to really seriously think about what's fixing to happen in this country. If you are not prepared for any situation, I need you to do that today, guys. Just get a bag, any bag that zips. One that's water resistant or waterproof would be better, but it's okay if you don't have it. That's what Ziploc bags are for, right? I need you to just go to the library, or if you've got a copier in your house, make copies of all your pertinent documentation, Social Security card, your birth certificate, your license, your deed to your home, the title to your car. I need you to put it in waterproof bags and get it into that bag. That bag is now called a bug out bag. It's a bag that you can grab quick in case of any situation. On top of that, I need you to slip, even if you just have $5, and that's all you've got, friend, put it in that bag, okay? You'll thank me later. If you've got a lot of expensive stuff or heirlooms worth money, write them down on a sheet of paper, tuck it in the bag. If you've got serial numbers to items, put it on that piece of paper. Get all that together. Just trust me. It'll take you an hour or two, but you'll be very thankful at some stage in your life that you've already been prepared for whatever. If you've got radiation pills or water purification tablets or one of those little bitty silver blankets that can be used to retard fires or keep you from freezing, drop that in there too, because they don't weigh very much. Now that you've got that done, you're prepared for an any or all event, and I would highly encourage you to practice your Second Amendment right, especially if you live in a city, a Democrat-ran city. Guys, anything could happen, okay? If you've got a Bible, put a Bible in your bag, because the Word of God, it says in there, it's more important than physical food for us. So you're going to want that spiritual nourishment. You don't want your phone. Phones are probably going to go down. We may end up under martial law. You need to be prepared for anything, because when the Department of Defense gives itself permission to shoot American citizens, we're in trouble. They didn't need that in 2016. They didn't need it in 2020, but they need it in 2024. What's the difference? 30 million illegal aliens? That's the main difference. And they know that the American citizens, the true lovers of this country, regardless of what color, what sex, what origin they are, we are tired of our country being stolen, and they know it. And they themselves are preparing. So I want you to watch this real quick clip of where I got this information. Go back, watch his long form video. It's going to give you a lot more information than I did. Like, comment, subscribe, share this video, folks. Wake up. We're running out of time, baby. We're running out of time.
Because I almost didn't believe it. In 2016 version, the directive primarily focused on intelligence collecting and ensuring civil liberties protections for U.S. persons. I like civil liberties. It emphasizes strict oversight and the need for authorization before collecting U.S. person information. So like, warrants and stuff. However, The 2024 version expands the military's role, particularly in assisting civil law enforcement, and authorizes lethal force under specific conditions, raising questions about its use during potential civil unrest surrounding the election. Okay, so what the Zero Head article here is referencing and accusing is that there's been language changes from the 2016 to the 2024 directive for the Department of Defense, saying that now they can assist civilian police and they are authorized to use lethal force, and that's the change. Well, we're going to jump over.
He's going to say anything stupid.
Look, you all know it. We can't have 4 more years of this. We won't have 4 more years of it.
Well, now, we saw these days coming when they were hooting and dancing and hollering for Obama.
Really sluggish and just can't find the motivation to exercise
one day,
or get through your day. Paley Valley's got a deal you don't want to miss. It's their buy one get one free on their grass-fed Oregon.
The RNs, the red ends, gonna snap one day. Boy, take in consideration what was just told to you. It's not a game out here in these streets. Let's run it back with my guy right here. J-Dub TV. Everybody's aligning. This is North Carolina. Another set exclusive. But of course,
information from them, and right off the gate, you see right here, this is a FEMA camp. He just posted this minutes ago, located in Asheville, North Carolina. Locals living immediately in the vicinity told us it popped up overnight. It didn't pop up overnight. They makeshift built this already. It looks like it's been built for a long-term presence, that it would be a good thing if you believe FEMA was bringing in the full weight of the federal. And we'll get into everything else. Also got videos of him coming up. Same guy who's talking about all this. And we're going to run down some of the things that's going on outside of that. Residents also saying there's still theft going on, where FEMA is still taking just hours ago. Can't believe what our government is doing. We just delivered 2 loads of donated supplies to Two Door Baptist Church in Elks Park, North Carolina on Sunday. So the churches are not safe. They're taking it from there as well. Here's a video clip of the, not video clip, but the photo of what they took. And so that's still ongoing. So what we're going to do, we're about to get into what he says here on this post. And then we got a video of him also coming up speaking about some of the scenario. But let's look into this here in just a second. Locals are reporting on social media and the news that they seen few, if any, FEMA personnel. So how do you justify a camp with this kind of footprints? Are locals simply uniformed? I've spoken to locals all over the Tri-County area, and they said the same thing to my face from my own personal interaction. I've seen federal agents, military, hundreds of volunteers from many different organizations, but I have yet to see one person wearing a FEMA shirt. Maybe they're incognito, or maybe I just haven't seen the right areas. There were plenty of them walking around in the camp, though. So check it out. We got this right here. Let's look into this. I think he's right. I think FEMA is actively probably undercover right now. This is the right here. This ex-military guy released this just today. You can see there's a date in the corner. This is the camp in North Carolina in Asheville. Check out the date, 2024, 10/15. And what do we see down there, everybody? Let's analyze this together. What is this? We got some truck beds. We got some black little containers over there, some FEMA vehicles. What's in those black containers? Is that like water canisters? Let me see what people say in the comment section. Check it out closer here. You go closer and you can see like these maybe makeshift looking buildings. You can see on the ground there's like a few people walking. So that's definitely FEMA personnel there. Looking over here, what else do we see here, guys? Like, let me see what you're saying in the chat section here, because some of this stuff I don't know exactly what it is. We got these I see looks like gas truck over there, a truck with the gas type of stuff in there. So that's probably keeping them fueled up. Meanwhile, a lot of residents only had gas deployed to them by veterans. Somebody says the police need to arrest them. Let's look into what else is here, because there's more sides of this. Check it out. Okay, so we can see a couple more. We see some red vehicle, like a red truck right there. Mainly this green thing. You got some containers over there too. You can see that looks like a blue container. It's a facility on the back end over there if you're looking at it. So this storyline starts to deepen. What are they really doing now? They try to set up the story that the sheriff exposed, saying that it was more people coming in, and it wasn't. So let's look into this part over here just a little bit more. So when you look from a distance here, you can see that this is the area right here, all located. And then you can see this on maps. The guy said this. He said it wasn't overnight. That pad was present over a year ago. He said, I'm simply quoting exactly what the neighbors told us, because he's living out there. So this is exactly from the ground. It's more stuff happening than just this, though. It's getting really strange out there. Somebody says Asheville Mall, they had a FEMA base there doing, let's say something. They're doing nothing. I'm glad, because we take care of our own. Moses West atmospheric water generators on the ground. He also, this ex-military guy also exposes, he talks about the flight situation with the planes disrupting stuff. Here's something else he found, though, too, on the ground. We'll come back to the FEMA camp situation in just a few. ATF was spotted in Spruce Pines, North Carolina. Makes things in this storyline get even deeper, because why are they there? I was told the hospital was targeted for looting. Law enforcement from other states and federal have been covering down. I've interviewed people at multiple distribution points who personally witnessed attempted drive-by shootings, but that was in early stages of the hurricane and has mostly gone back to normal. So after that, here are the ATF agents that are in North Carolina that he's been seeing on the ground. He's actually living there. We're going to play a clip of him. Don't worry. He also gets into how on the ground FEMA is being directed. Not just FEMA, but law enforcement is being directed in because of that social media post about the helicopters. And we showed you multiple locations where the helicopters was doing that. We didn't know. We heard that they were masked people, masked military. The guy gets into deeper what the storyline was about and what's going on the ground. This is the guy who's exposing the camps in there in the videos, the photos I just showed you. So check this out right here.
Whatever you can send to the campaign, we'll put it into commercials. We're doing a lot of commercials, and they're really good. Whatever you could send, please send, and you have the link. But you're very special people. We have to win the election. It's the biggest election of time. It's probably the biggest election maybe in the history of our country. They're just...
That's funny. No, it ain't.
Hey, good morning. It's Saturday morning here in Asheville, North Carolina. I was going to give you a quick update. I had some thoughts in my head about some stuff we've seen over the last week. I was so used to going into a war zone like Afghanistan and Iraq, ripping out with some folks, being plugged into immediate information and command and control. And this really reminds me of those early years of creating something new, going into Afghanistan or Iraq and nothing being established, and doing it all from the ground up. One of the things that came out this week that's really bothered me and made things extremely difficult, and I think about the impact that the media has, is all of that viral post with the helicopter and the rotor wash, messing up all the supplies and the tents on that HLZ. And I think about that information and a lot of people that I thought were reputable, who pushed those lies, pushed that nonsense. This idea that it was some sort of black ops or CIA or FEMA helicopter or whatever. And they continue to push those lies. And they continue to believe that that was something other than what it was, the North Carolina Army National Guard and an accident. You know, whether that was incompetence, whether that was a sleep-deprived crew, whether that was just an inexperienced pilot. I don't know exactly. But what I do know, that those were legitimate National Guard pilots and crew who were flying in to drop off generators. And I didn't need to get that from the media. I got that directly from firsthand sources. And because of the fallout of that, law enforcement is having to escort the military, both active and National Guard, into a lot of these areas now because it's not safe. People were calling for locals to attack the military, to attack those helicopters. It's extremely dangerous, and it slows down progress exponentially. And that kind of stuff has a real and long-lasting impact. And you wonder while we're being squeezed, why is that happening? That to me is not unintentional. Somebody was fueling that intentionally. It wasn't the conspiracy theorists. They helped propagate it, but there was an element behind that wants to squeeze this area. And therein lies the conspiracy. Why?
What happens when neuropathy takes over and your feet?
You got to use spiritual discernment. The same thing happened with the 2020 agenda. They said nobody or conspiracy theorists don't know what they're talking about. To 2 years later, 3 years, to confirm we did.
Why would certain entities who are seemingly involved in the rescue and recovery operations trying to squeeze this area and create unrest and chaos?
And that's what they're actually looking for. Unrest and chaos is what we were talking about. And so, yeah, we did confirm the helicopter too. We seen the tag of it, and people did say it was definitely National Guard. So what he was saying on that point was also correct. Now, people are saying in the comments this looked more like a command base than a camp for civilians. And what in the comments, let me know, how does this look like a command base to you, and what specific geographics of it makes it look like a command base? Because I want everybody to know that, because like we got former military veterans on the channel, they're watching all the time. Sometimes active military, and they can definitely break down what they're seeing here better than I can. So the comments is going to be, just look down there actively while the video is going on. It's going to be just as powerful as me coming up with this. Now, something else that's interesting, I see FEMA closing some of these places, and this one guy was just talking about that. I'm not down with the political bull crap, but whenever they talk about some stuff that really happened, let's just listen to what he says, and I'm going to show you what's actually happening.
When I get back to Washington, that's the first thing we need a reorganization of FEMA. That is completely, I mean, it's like the Department of Education. Shut it down, send that money to the states where they know best for how to do it.
So when he said shut down FEMA, I seen something happening right here where CT to shutter FEMA Disaster Recovery Center in Wilton on Monday. The FEMA Disaster Recovery Center at Our Lady Church of Fatima in Wilton is permanently closing at the end of business on Monday, October 14th. So basically yesterday, we had a center of FEMA closed permanently, and they said like they used to have like 25 locations. We heard they're drying up on funds. So they might not have just been they used it for illegals, and it's FEMA closing disaster recovery centers in Sioux Clay counties, October 10th. So a couple other locations closing, and that's gets very, very strange in this storyline. The fact that they've got facilities over there in North Carolina becomes even more strange.
Let's not forget the retired civilian army guy from Florida called up some buddies. I can't remember if he said it was an Army or a Coast Guard helicopter. And he told you they were saving people, and then the government swooped in and said it was the government, but it was them. Now, they were there. They said, we need helicopters, man. We don't need food. We don't need boats, cars. We need things that can fly. That's what he specifically said. It's on my videos. Now, here we are again.
We told you about the directive that came out, and now it's starting to get cold over there. And people are saying that, there's been deaths, reported about 15 people died of hypothermia from a medical team. I looked at the page of it, and yeah, they said it was confirmed because the weather is starting to get colder there now. And like I said, with this directive they put in September 27, where they're able to engage with civilians and use lethal force, totally just wrecks posse comitatus. And this is really a dangerous ground. So I think that the news, they tried to set up a civil war chaos scenario, and it got exposed by the sheriffs over there. So that was highly important. But we really need to follow what's going on here. We really need to dive in deeper to figure out what's going on. So I'm going to be looking into this story here where these camps are showing up on the ground. And I want to see video of this. And if some of the people, you can look right here and you can see exactly the location. I'm trying to get a clearer image here. Sorry for that. So here it is right here. You can see the location.
Now you can see that there are trailers, mobile homes. With the tractor trailer, you could put something together and make an office. FEMA camps.
So if you're good with coordinates,
like a Walmart, the back of Walmart.
If we can get more images of this, more video of this, is going to be very important moving forward with the further investigation of what's happening on the ground in North Carolina, because it all starts there. And that's how they wanted to go and push the Civil War scenario. They've been trying hard there because they see the most veterans on the ground there. They see America is really standing up to be who they actually are.
Now, you heard him say it. You heard people in North Carolina say it. You heard people from Florida in North Carolina say it. You heard me say it. Stand down. They want us to shoot at them so they can call militia. Then the whole nation gonna suffer from the fool that does it. So now everybody's aligning. Different folks don't even follow each other. You're still gonna say the spirit don't work simultaneously, though, right?
Our communities start to build, they see strength in numbers, and that's fear. They're like, oh my God, these people are getting together. I can't believe it. This is terrifying. Like, we have to do something. We gotta call them the domestic terrorists or something. We gotta like send operatives on the ground. So on the ground, they must be there with no FEMA shirts on, incognito. Makes sense while nobody's seen them there, but apparently they are there because we see the facility. This is gonna be getting. Somebody says, are those semi-trailers? Some of them was trailers, yes. I was thinking like they were going to use that to potentially so-called help people. But remember, I was in FEMA, I was in the trailers. You pass out. My mom had ear infections for months. So it's not really helping you if you go and get in that. I know a lot of people say, well, I don't have anything else. But it gets very dangerous as you start to listen and see this story escalate. We're going to have a lot more coming, looking behind the scenes for a lot more. So I did a video yesterday tying into this deeply. So what you want to do is check that out on the left-hand side. I'll have it after this video is over.
See, all things are tying together. The Most High people aren't lost or stranded or shocked about anything. Thank you for coming to HSE-TV Entertainment. Braka, braka. Always stay with the Ruah Eshe Iso Iasha. Shalom.